We are back with another episode of Mothering Holistically, a podcast amplifying everyday moms' voices to share stories, practical tips, and inspiration. I'm your host, Kaylee Berlini, a mama finding balance in motherhood because balance is key when mothering holistically. So no matter where you're connecting with us from, please subscribe or follow and give us feedback as we continue to make this podcast motivational and helpful for you all. So today we are chatting with Terry, the evolving mother. Can you hear them?
I can, but hey, it's a show about mothering, how we do what we do when we're mothering.
Today we are chatting with Terry, the evolving mother, and a woman who transformed her experiences into a business, taking a circular economic mantra with ever-evolving concepts into a business that empowers community. So please give a very warm welcome to Terry. So hello, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I know. Cheers.
Oh.
So I just want you to start, kind of tell us a little bit more about yourself. Where did the evolving mother come from? And yeah, start there.
Good morning. It's good to see you again. We'll get into that, but I'm glad you gave me a time limit because I could talk forever. I always get nervous about the content that I'm going to share. And then I go, oh, let's just talk because I want to tell you, I hope your move has gone well. Give yourself time. But the word balance, you use the word balance in your opening statement, and that is key to what I do as well, or what I've learned. So for you learning that now, that's awesome. I say on my website, I'm a small town girl living in a lovely world. You know, I'm a 80s child and love Journey. And Don't Stop Believing is a song that I have sung to myself for over 30 years because I didn't know where to land. There's no rule book or guidebook, just like when you have kids, you think you're ready, ha. You think you're ready for marriage, ha. Oh yeah, I'm going to marry this guy in the military and we're going to travel the world, ha. You can relate to that too, right?
Yeah, it's not to stop you, but I literally just put out a video. Well, the video coming out today, or the episode coming out today, is what I wish I knew before getting married. And basically my opening statement is, you'll never be ready.
Totally. And maybe that will be part of my next book maybe we'll get there. I don't know. We may have to have a revolving 3-month conversation. But that's why I dubbed myself the evolving mother in 2012. We're never going to get there because we'll always be evolving. And that's a good thing. I don't want to stop evolving, stop growing, stop living. And so in 2012, big year, I saw my mother more times in that year than I ever did over the years when I moved out of the house and got married. But then she passed away at the end of that year. So, wow. But that is what got me journaling. And I didn't have this story in 2012. It was just the beginning. It was just like a tree when you cut off a limb and it has that knot. And it's a storyline. It's an anchor for part of your story in life. It was very hard. And yet I named myself the evolving mother during that year and started journaling in a devotional book. And can you believe I've been journaling in that same book for 10 years? Now, I've bought
Wow.
3. So there's 3 in 1 year. Had no
Okay.
idea why I chose to do. Well, I kind of knew why I did, but I had no idea what the transformation would look like. But out of that, about 7 years later, is when I realized every year when I would go back to February 7th, I would see what I had written 2 years ago and the year before. And I'm like, wow. Or I would go, girl, get your butt out of that chair and do something. So from there, it was around the pandemic time, and we were all evolving ourselves, transforming ourselves, trying to figure out, oh, what are we going to do? And I took some of my blogs. I think I started blogging because there's a little bit of, oh, we think we're a writer in my family. So I just write little bitty blogs to satisfy myself. But another haha moment, during the pandemic, we all started to reflect and dig deeper, and looking at my journal entries, I came up with a book, or a, it's not of a mantra, but I can write, but I don't know what these things are called. But
affirmation, inspiration.
Well, let me just say it, and everybody can put their own words on it. Dig, evolve, live. 3 words to live by. And I put together an ebook, and it's on my website. And I chose my blogs based on digging into your life and evolving into your life and living into your life. And basically digging, evolving, and living is the how, when, and why of life. And then, yeah, when you can grow into who you are and strengthen yourself inside to live who you are meant to be, you're going to live a better life for your health, for your family, for your friends. Your life will be so enriched. And that's my thing in a nutshell, but my nutshell looks like a heart.
No, I love that. So many different things. I know I already touched upon the you'll never be ready, and just self-reflecting. I have mentioned in talk with other women in this show about journaling. I think it's so important because it's just like tracking. It's basically tracking life's progress. We track so many different things. We track our finances. We track our weight loss journeys, or whatever. But a lot of times we don't take the time to track ourselves and to pay attention to how we are evolving. So I love that, especially the self-reflection, digging into yourself, really taking the time to understand you, evolving, and then living. I love that. I love that so much.
And when you think about, my family is so happy that I did not go into psychology and I took the business organizational route, but I'm like, you can't take the psychology out of mama. What kind of society are we? We're always wanting to look like that pretty person or be like that person we idolize. Let's stop. Or are we into ourselves? This generation is so into themselves. This generation is all about, and oh, by the way, you look very 80s today. Can I say that? Your earrings and your cut and your hair. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we are
Yay, we're meshing.
synthesizing, we're meshing. There we go. As you were talking, I'm thinking, oh my God, she's so 80s. Okay. So let's worry less about or take balance of who we see in the world that we want to be. Like, oh, I like those characteristics of that person. Or, ooh, I see myself. Look for yourself in other people. Maybe I haven't rounded out what that sounds like, but definitely come back to yourself and find out who you are. Don't try to be anybody else. your DNA is different from someone else's. There's no way you're going to be like anyone else. You might have a doppelganger, but your freckle's not going to be where their freckle is. Freckle's a thing with me. You can't see a lot of them, but I actually put on makeup, so everyone that sees me in this is going to go, who is that? And her hair's down. I think last time you saw me, my hair was up.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a, nope, I'm not going to tangent. But anyway, so the balance of, we all know we want to be like others. You know, we strive to, oh, I want to be like that.
Aspire.
That's why we go on these dyes, you know, go on a diet. We color our hair. We do whatever. But then there's that longing to be me. Well, that's because you're not spending enough time on you. So find your balance. You know, my how, when, and why. You know, your how is self-care. I wrote up a little to expand the next book is, you know, for my Dig, Evolve, Live, I was saying it's the how, when, and why. And so I'm reading my notes because I just did this for this podcast.
No worries.
The how is self-care, which most people talk about it as work-life balance these days. If that term works for you, great. But to me, there's more to life than work. It's like being a mother. You know, all the football players or all the sports people say, "Thanks, Mom," because they know mothers are the ones that do everything. But yet society doesn't value motherhood. We don't get a salary. Oh, therefore we're not valued. Oh, come on, America. Let's wake up and be the better country. So yeah, that'll be another podcast. You know, maybe get a personality test, but there are tons of personality tests out there. So look into the personality test that you're going to take, whether it's how you're going to act with business or how you're going to act with,
people.
Yeah. There's so many out there. What color is your parachute? Who moved my cheese? All these things. I've read a bunch. That shelf over there is full of them. And journal. You know, your how, you're not going to know the when and the why, or even the what, if you don't journal. Simon Sinek and Brene Brown. Those are two people that are prominent on my shelf, along with Andy Stanley. For people who I read and choose their language, their, you know, I don't know that everybody knows about them because it's not important to them to be on the news every night. What's important to them is to help you be all you can be. That's what's important. And then once you get through your how, then when? When are you going to be ready? We're never ready, right? So take one day at a time, one step at a time, at your stride. That's the other thing. One step at a time. Yeah, but my stride's shorter than everybody else in my family because I'm the shortest. So I'm slow. I'm okay with being slow. That way I can sip the coffee, smell those roses, smell my grandbaby's little neck. You have to cherish those moments. Had I known I was going to know you so well, I would have picked up your babies out of that wagon at my house and just smelled their little necks because now I can't do it. So I still think that's interesting. And that's the other thing. You never know who you're going to meet.
I know. I think so. We didn't really share in the intro, but so we're going to get to the RISE concept. But for those of you that don't know, I met Terry through Angel, who was just recently on the show.
Yes, shout out to Angel.
And apparently
I listened to
Angel
the podcast.
Oh yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But I interviewed Angel, and apparently she was talking to Terry about it and how I met Angel at one of Terry's meat markets. And not a meat market. It was at one of her What are they called?
MEET. MEET. Okay.
Yes, yes,
Not
yes.
MEA.
A market, like
Meet.
a
It was a
craft
festival.
fair, that type of thing. Yes, yes, yes. And she was chatting with Terry, and then she reached out to me and said, you know, the owner of Rise is super interested in chatting with you. And then she gave her my information, and then I ended up, I was always in Rise. So I ended up chatting with Terry, not even knowing who she was. Like, I bought my dining table from her, and the next
Oh my
morning when I came
gosh.
to pick it up, she
Oh
was
my
like, "Oh
gosh.
my goodness, it's you."
You never know who you're going to meet in this
I,
world.
it pays to be kind.
You got to be true to be kind. Okay. My kids just love me.
Yes, I'm sure. So, how did your experiences, you know, as a mother of two, traveling military spouse, inspired the creation of the evolving company? And what key lessons from those years shaped through the Dig, Evolve, Thrive philosophy?
Well, do you see the bags and the wrinkles? I tried covering up the hair. I got sick this week, so I couldn't go to the salon, but so that was the other thing I did in prep for this was
I know it's glary.
okay. It's a timeline.
Okay.
I had to do it for a counseling class that I took in college. And whenever I get discombobulated, stressed, whatever, in my journals, I'll write a timeline. And it helps me see what's been happening to understand why why my emotions are erratic or calm or why I'm not moving. So I'm going to start with 2012 rather than go back to 1988 when I married my husband in the military and met a lady from the National Military Family Association that changed my life. And, you know, you don't have to have one of those pivotal moments all the time or, this is the moment, you know, that I hit my toe and life changed. But you can go back and see, oh yeah, when I had a conversation with so-and-so. So when I met Sydney Tally-Hickey with NMFA, I'm like, that's my woman. That's what I want to do. I love to help people. So I became a community advocate. Moving forward to 2012. My mother passed away, started journaling. Let's just start there. But basically, I'd been a community advocate for over 30 years, which is providing resources and educating people on their rights, their benefits, letting them know what's available to them. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of something, you can't think like that. So I happen to be naturally good at that. Didn't realize it for a few years, but you know, I'm slow. All right. So basically I started the Evolving Company, got through the pandemic, formed it a little bit more, came out of the pandemic, and in our community, we had a bunch of thrift stores. It was like Thrift Shop Bro. And it closed. And our church had 3 of them. So our church started to, talk about whether they're going to have a nonprofit, make a nonprofit to have a resale store. And it didn't form. So those people, this is a really condensed version, came to me and said, when we talked to you about this, you had a plan. Would you be interested in, our church doesn't want to do it anymore. Here, the community needs this. So I said, sure. So we sat down. I said, here's my plan. And oh, by the way, here's the timeline. And their mouths dropped because it was February and I wanted to open the store in October. I'm like, well, I'm not sitting around because the best time to open a store, because we wanted to open a resale store, right?
It's holidays.
Sorry, maybe that wasn't part of them.
No, and that's perfect.
I said the best time to open any store is in the fourth quarter because that's when you get your most sales.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't market yourself, you're going to have issues. However, we opened within 6 months. We were paying our bills because as a nonprofit, we can accept donations and give tax write-offs. So people were donating furniture, mostly bookcases. I've lived in the area for 25 years. I put out the call, hey, I'm opening a store. I said, get the network going. I need bookcases so I can fill those. Anyway, here we are 4 years later. Amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing profits.
Amazing.
I'm not going to evangelize other than to say,
I want to stop you.
Oh,
because I'm business is my thing. Business is my thing. And I'm constantly just always analyzing different people's businesses. That's just who I am. I'm always just like, oh, that's genius the way that they marketed that, or blah, 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 blah. So we're going to use In-N-Out. In-N-Out is always busy, but they're one of the cheapest in terms of cost businesses. And I mean, they're cheaper than Burger King. They're better than Burger King. They're cheaper than McDonald's. They're better than McDonald's. I mean, we can go down the list of, it is so affordable to go to In-N-Out in regard to eating out being affordable. It's so much more affordable to go to In-N-Out, and the quality is there. The consistency is there. The customer service is there. So I'm going to bring that to you. When you go to thrift stores, everyone knows on this show, I'm an advocate thrifter. It's like you go to different thrift stores and you're looking at the prices and you're like, this is secondhand. You know, if it was antique, that's different, but it's secondhand. And it shouldn't be that expensive. I'm trying to be sustainable here. Why is the costs almost the same as brand new? So when my husband came home one day and he was just like, I have a surprise for you. There's this thrift store that I found. I was just like, really? He was like, I couldn't believe the prices. And so we went, and it was just phenomenal, affordable prices, quality goods, quality customer service. And we found so many gems. I mean, we got our dining table there.
This is why I don't wear makeup anymore.
We got a china set, beautiful china set, you know, to be able to use for the holidays for our family. I mean, clothes for the show, just different things on a budget, a new family. And it made us feel like we had quality goods for an affordable price. And then, like I said, the customer service, it was just amazing. And how you're now revealing the success. So many people think I need to put a high price tag on something to make money, to be successful, to market. First off, word of mouth marketing is going to be the best bet of marketing, and it's completely free. And a lot of people don't think about that, especially when it comes to business. And they don't think about kindness being of value, being something that can be used as a way to bring people in. I have another mom, Courtney, who was on the show, and she owns, I don't know if you've heard of Indie Clover, but it's a thrift store. And her stores have boomed pretty much off of kindness in her way of, you know, going into the community, bringing in community. So not to keep going on this horse, but the fact that your prices are so affordable, the quality of the goods is so, I mean, I got a brand new Banana Republic dress for $14. Okay. Like, I mean, that is just one example. 100% silk shirt for $6. And it's just amazing.
Wait, bring that back. I didn't mark that up.
It was I've kind of started to notice like it was a vest shirt. So I started to know kind of how y'all price certain things. But I mean, the quality is there. And then to hear the success is there. And I will let you go into the other things that make you want to donate, make you want to shop there in terms of how you are involved in the community. But I mean, yeah, I couldn't. We were always there. We were there at least once a week.
So I think we're going to have some segments here. Because I've written down 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say them, but I want to start with, I didn't finish the why part of my how, when, why.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have to go to my website and hear about the why. That was not an intentional plug to get you to my website, but I'm going to go there now so that I can get through this podcast. But why for Rise? What have we done? What is it about Rise? First of all, Rise, the word is intentional.
Mm-hmm.
My nonprofit that I started 4 years ago, because we started a nonprofit, then we opened a resale store to generate business for us to do the things of the nonprofit that we wanted to do, give money back to the community, mm-hmm. help families, whatever we wanted to do, you got to have money to do
mm-hmm.
that. So and I'm just now, well, there's a couple organizations I've been able to write a grant to get some extra money, but that we'll be doing that in the future to help us build and grow, evolve.
Mm-hmm.
But RISE stands for Resources in Support of Empowerment. And as I mentioned, that is so me from my life. And my aunt pointed this out when I got an award one time. She said, in 7th grade, you were helping your friends. You ran for student council. You would show them that, no, you need to do it this way because that's what you're good at. You're not good at math. Why are you doing it that way? And they look, anyway, she saw that in me and I'm like, damn, and then I look at my daughter and friends were, parents were telling me about my daughter. She's so outspoken. And I'm like, sorry. So community advocate. I latched onto community advocate and then learned more about personality psychology and how to, work with people so that I didn't seem so demanding and so bossy. That moving into resources and supportive empowerment just made sense. I am so thankful for the team that helped. It was really quick that we came up with it. It was amazing, but that's it. That's the concept we're going after. And what does that mean? In our nonprofit, it's starting with each other. We empower each other first, because if we aren't empowering each other, you're going to feel it at the store. You're going to feel it in meetings, no matter what. So from the board to the volunteers at the store, I work with the personalities to ensure that it's a team that works well together and that we have all the different facets of what's needed to have the store run, cashiering, sorting, pricing, it's all customer service because people in the back come out in the front. They can't hide. Anyway, and then we got into, well, what are we going to do differently? Goodwill's got a big market. Salvation Army's got a big market. In our community, there's another one that's really big. So we looked at what they did and how can we be different? Well, first of all, because of my community advocacy, my faith, it's all about being kind. Our word is kindness. When it gets messy, busy, crazy, we come back to kindness. It's not always easy. Sometimes we have to say to each other, what's our word? And take a minute and you don't worry about anything else because that doesn't matter as much as being kind to someone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anything can be handled with kind. Say love, but love is kindness. So that's what's making us successful, is caring for people with kindness. The other thing is, or what's enrolled in that, is cause over cash. When I go out, people don't want to hear, oh, kindness, oh, kindness. It's like you're jumping over sunflowers or daisies, whatever.
Frolicking in the fields.
Frolicking in the fields, yes. And I'm like, fine, then let's call it cause over cash. And then they're like,
I like that.
yeah, right. You're like, yeah, right. You do you. I'm doing me. You want to see my numbers? The other thing is, like you were saying, referring to the marketing, the best form of marketing is word of mouth. Would you believe I've barely done any marketing? I'll have people post on Nextdoor. I have people post on Facebook. We have a Facebook account, but I don't have time to market. I'm out talking to my customers, and whether they're in the store or, because if I see a customer, I'm not famous enough yet that I'm running and hiding in the bathroom or running to the produce section to get away from people, because that's not my personality. But that's what's made us successful, is I'm there for people. I want to be there for people, but that works for me. It's not going to work for everybody. So fine you, but it's definitely calls over cash. And a phrase I heard years ago is, somebody is only somebody when somebody says somebody is somebody. It's going to take you a while to maybe process that, like it did me.
I love that, because not to make this about me, but when you go to kindness, and I had shared, sometimes names get away from me, but the woman that told you who I was, she has the short blonde cut.
Yes.
I forget. She was
Nancy.
Yeah, I loved her. Nancy, there we go.
Nancy.
She was so kind. And then, we ended up just talking about the reasons why I was shopping. And I told her about the podcast. And then, of course, Angel told you. And then it all circled back. And it was just like, I felt like somebody.
You are.
Oh,
You're right.
Thank you.
Right?
Yeah. And it just was like, I was like, yeah, I do have the podcast. So anyway, I like that you said that, because it was true. Like, you're somebody if someone says that you're somebody.
So that's the definition of success, right? When you feel you've made it, when you feel complete, when you feel, oh, I've been noticed for something kind. Now, when you're noticed for chewing out the, cashier at the grocery store because you didn't like the price or whatever, but I don't really want to. I don't want to be that person. No. So I just put the cucumber back, But yeah, success is what you make it. Define your own success, and don't wait for it. We all know we're going to die. We're all worried about, oh, am I going to get to do this? Am I going to get to do that? Stop worrying about whether you're going to make it to 70 or 90. Live for now. And that's not easy, but for whatever reason, we were only given 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
So carve out your time. Think about early 1900s when the unions started. They were yelling 8, 8, 8. 8 hours of work, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of personal time. When I heard that in a movie, I'm like, what? I don't remember that from history class, but it made so much sense, All of us wish we could get 8 hours of sleep, right? And it's only worked 8 hours a day.
Bloopers, all the bloopers.
So we were talking about rise and what makes it successful. What makes it successful is what people want it to be, but me being genuine as to who I am, sharing, being kind, cause over cash, I'm telling you, the numbers have come. You know, you look at the businesses that are making money, and I don't want to use a particular company because they're not here to talk about why they do what they do. But
Yeah.
do your work so that there's less for people to complain about. I get complaints, okay? But I will pick up the phone and talk with that person, or ask to talk with them and say, tell me more. And they're like, oh, well, I didn't mean it like that. And I'm like, oh, well, tell me how you meant it. Or someone who had a bad experience and wrote me a note. I'll write them a note back. Yeah, it's unusual. So I'm not looking for the day when I have so many negative comments that fills up my day. No, I'm focusing on cause over cash. But when I have an opportunity to listen to why something didn't work in the store for someone, it's
an opportunity to make it better.
Yes. And the mission statement, I didn't mention the mission statement for the RISE concept, is a community hub offering, providing resources and supportive empowerment. So the very first thing is a community hub. We developed this. So even before COVID, we all needed a place to belong. We all wanted, I mean, that's why part of why churches started and why they were meant to start is for people to gather. That's why coffee shops do so well, is for people to gather. It's part of our DNA, whether you believe in the religious part of it or not. It is part of our DNA to get together, to communicate, to be in a group.
Yeah.
And so that offers people a safe place to be heard. And even though there are people that come in and talk, depending on our day and what we have to get done, we'll say, I've heard you, but I need to go do this. Let me see if Nancy's available to see if she can help you with something. When you address that someone has been heard, it makes all the difference in their world. You may not have solved the solution, but you've helped them. I heard it the other day when I was listening to an Andy Stanley podcast. It's the psychological safety that we all need in work, not just at home. It's everywhere. You need psychological safety to move forward, to be confident. And so just saying to someone the words out loud, I heard you. And that's what I want our store to be. First and foremost is a community hub. And the resource that we're providing is listening and caring, kindness. We just happen to sell goods. And we just happen to be making a lot of money. And I just happen to like interior design. And I love making the store look boutique. So to me, secondhand things can seem yucky, dirty, ew. But just like when someone takes the wrong path in life or makes one mistake, give them a second chance. That's what life's about. So let's give these items a second chance as well. And that's what our business is about.
And it's so fresh in there too. Like, you know, some thrift stores you go into and there's like a little smell, which is fine. It's like, you know, you've stepped into a thrift store. I always tell my husband, I was like, it's so fresh in there. Like some of the stuff is so vintage and things like that, but it was just always so fresh and airy. And Ah, I miss it.
Well, I just hid in the air, those HEPA filters, the air filters.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I've hidden those well.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important. It's important to have the HEPA filters going and, get all the other smells out so that you can visualize it, or, smelling is a feeling, or right? Is it a feeling? Anyway. So if it doesn't smell right, I mean, you like sandalwood over jasmine, right? Or whatever. So get the smell, neutralize the smells so you can make it your own.
Yeah, that's super important. And attention to detail. I love attention to detail. Small details matter. So I definitely wanted you to share the RISE concept and how it has branched out into other organizations and how y'all help other organizations, because the story definitely touched me and I thought it was so moving. So I wanted you to share that.
Well, I'm a community advocate. That's, who I am. I'm, someone came up with a term for me. Circular economic consultant is a name that someone gave me. I'm like, all right, I'll add that to the list. So as a community advocate, I'm somebody that is comfortable going and meeting people, getting to know my community. And it was intentional that we moved to Rancho Bernardo. Not going to get into that story, but it was intentional. My husband was getting out of the Navy and we wanted a place that we were going to retire. So home base, or the new home base. So I jumped in, found our church, found the doctors, we had friends. The friends came out of church, kids' friends, getting into the school, getting to know the teachers, asking them what they needed, how can I help? So being in Rancho Bernardo for 25 years, I knew a lot of people. And so I would let everybody know what I'm doing, and therefore they would let their club know, whether it was Rotary, my church, my girlfriends from elementary, high school, and middle school, college, because I went back to school, saw my friends from college, all my friends from book club. And people know that I'm a caring person and that I'm resourceful. So they'll call me and say, hey, I have this big old hutch. I'm like, yeah, I don't have a lot of room for those and they're not selling, but bring it in. And what I started doing was separating the top from the bottom, and the bottom could be a dresser. And so then I had a lot of those. And as the store grew, people were just coming into the store saying, hey, can you help? If you ever get excess of this, can we have it? We'll even buy it. I'm like, okay, let me process this. So the other thing when we started the nonprofit was who do we want to support specifically? And it was at-risk youth, veterans, and survivors of human trafficking. And that was based on who was on the board at the time. All of us had a veteran connection. So veterans, absolutely, always. All of us had kids. So youth and at-risk youth don't seem to have enough resources. And then survivors of human trafficking, one of the local churches that was willing to give us some seed money to get started had helped survivors of human trafficking and started an organization for them So I wanted to give to them. Okay.
Okay.
On top of the fact that, unfortunately, San Diego is in the top 5. We used to be the 5th highest trafficked.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want us to get any lower, but anyway, there's a high rate of trafficked people here, not just females anymore either. So people would come in, whether they knew me or got to know me. So we now have 10 partners, and it's either gently hugged and we give baby clothing from 1 year and under straight to them. We don't even sell them in the store. Our store is small, even though we did expand a year and a half ago. It's still small. We don't have room for it. So why hoard it and try and make money? Give. It's that whole give and you shall receive, cause over cash. That's what, trust me. When you do good, you're going to get more back. You just got to open your eyes to see it, or your heart to feel it, okay, or your ears to hear it. Clothing to baby clothing, old towels that are stained or ripped, sheets, blankets, go to Humane Society. Toiletries go to an organization, because they're opened, and we'll keep a few of them that are not open, or perfumes that are barely used. But why? Let's sell other stuff. Let's help these organizations. Who else? There's an organization that goes to the homeless on the streets. So all of our tents, all of our sleeping bags, sometimes pillows, but socks, and Bibles. They want Bibles because they're a biblical organization. All of those go to that organization. Sleeping bags and tents are really hard. I mean, they're big, and you got to put them together to make sure. Well, I want to sell products that are still useful.
Nice. Yeah.
Haven't even gotten into the other segment down the road of fixing broken things, or restaining or sanding or painting furniture. Ooh.
Yeah.
Did I mention I'm on a campus? Okay. So I'm trying to remember other organizations. Candles. Woo! I just recently started saving candles for a friend who makes candles out of candles. Love repurposing. Did I mention I love repurposing? My mother told me I was granola and I needed to move to California. I don't know why you're in Texas. Well, here I am. But that's who we're helping in the community. A variety of organizations. And then we give our fund. Every year we write a check to a local high school. It's an alternative high school for at-risk students. Not all of them have IEPs or 504s or whatever. They could be a foster student that needed to go. Well, it's not even foster students, but it's a menagerie. There's students who've gotten sick and can't go back to the regular school because they're a little behind now. So it's not at risk because they're bad kids, but we're supporting that school with a check. We're supporting veterans at Interfaith Community Services because they've already got the program going. We're just giving them money to continue, but we want it specifically to go to veterans. And then the survivors of human trafficking, we write them a check to help with whatever they need a little more money for, to help a survivor empower themselves again. So
I
need to shrink my nutshell. My nut gets big.
No, that's completely fine. I like hearing the full picture and the full story, and it's just so important, the work that y'all are doing, and it makes you want to donate. Like you said, we're not going to name different organizations, but there's some organizations where I'm seeing prices are just through the roof, and a lot of people want to shop sustainably, but then it becomes impractical, and it gets frustrating. And then you're like, well, then you don't want to donate there because you wanted to help. You didn't want people to get scammed off of your things. So it was just really nice to be able to start donating to the Rise. And yeah, I love what it stood for. And I love that y'all take everything because, you know, a lot of times people have too much things and then they're like, where does it go? I don't want to just throw it away. It just end up in the landfill. So it's really nice that y'all take everything and then it goes somewhere specific and important and it helps. So I really appreciate that. And I definitely wanted you to share. Um, so, in blending business with philanthropy, what's one unexpected way the Rise concept has helped you thrive personally as a mother?
Boy, my daughter's going to get this first when you send me the link to this when it's uploaded. You know, that's okay. Say the question one more time because I could go off on tangents and I want to answer the question.
So, in blending business with philanthropy, what's one unexpected way the Rise concept has helped you thrive personally as a mom?
Okay. Confidence. Confidence. So me thriving myself. Again, going back to the dig, evolve, live. What do you want out of life? Not waiting until you're 70. I've get older. There's been one person die every month. I know somebody that's died every month, and it's not just picking up the paper and reading that someone died. Someone I know has died. That's because I have a large group of friends or I get to know people. But I have realized that this is my purpose in life. For the longest time, well, growing up, I wanted to go to college, buy a house, buy a car, buy a boat, because I grew up on the lake. I wanted to get a boat. I'm going to do all those things before I have kids. Ha ha, God laughs at your plans, right?
Yeah.
And then I fall in love with this guy in a uniform after I, hated all men because dad left my mom, blah, blah, blah. And we started traveling the world, and 20 years later, I go back to college, take that counseling class, and he makes us do that timeline. And he called me out in the class and said, I want you all to look at her timeline and see how she has, because she's living right. And I'm like, what? I'm just now going back to college. I haven't even started. And he goes, you're wrong. I'm sorry, but you're wrong. 4 years later, that guy goes to my church and he says, I remember that day, and I hope that you aren't still mad at me for calling you out. And I said, no, I've grown because you made me see. You saw that I wasn't comfortable with what I wrote on my timeline. You saw I still wasn't comfortable in my shoes. And you said, get your, when are you going to live? If you don't own your own story, Brene Brown, own your story. Make your story. So even though I never wanted to be a resale store manager, I'm not. I'm a community advocate. I'm the evolving mother that's showing love and kindness and empowering people to be the best they can be. And it was 2 years into getting this store going because there was no way I was going to, things started to change. And after, when it's appropriate, we can share that was a big, big challenge. 1 year into opening the nonprofit, I had a huge decision to make. So next podcast. Because Life is not all rosy. I don't like listening to these podcasts, oh, I'm frolicking over those daisies again. No. Mm-mm. No. Go back and read my blogs, okay? So 2 years in, the 2x4, I actually did go in and get some MRIs because my head was having spasms back here. And I said, yeah, I hit my head, on a piece of wood. And then my car, my 20-year-old Land Cruiser, which I love, Betsy, the hydraulics were going on her, the window, and that hit me again. So I went in, had some MRIs done. They were trying to figure out what was wrong. That's when I learned my ears are different sizes, and they're like the size of kids. So I need unique earbuds. Anyway, I'm willing to market earbuds for someone, so just let me know. But it was at that time, getting that MRI, that I realized this is the 2x4 hitting me on the head. Own your story. Listen to what you've been writing for other people. You are. This Rise Resale, which is the name of the resale store, is rising, is thriving because of you. Not only because of me, but I'm the one who put the ball in motion and said, this is who I want us to be. And it's cause over cash, kindness, and it all starts with me. And we're now in year 4, and I'm hurting right here because I pinch myself all the time. I have a constant bruise. No. So it's amazing. I don't know that every business, every business isn't going to have the same profits. It's not going to look the same as far as success, but it will look how you want it when you've got your plan in place. Make it realistic, make it manageable, define your success. And all of this starts with your values. All of it, when I get into the why, it starts with your values. What are your values? This is my purpose in life. It's not being a resale manager or a resale store manager. It's being the evolving mother and empowering others.
I love that. And like you said, like, I never wanted to be a resale manager. This is what I am. And creating your own narrative and not putting yourself into what people would say is a box. And I love that. Like you said, your shell is growing, ever bulging out, ever expanding. So I love that.
My grit, it grew 3 times.
Your grin chart. So, what role has motherhood played in your mission to provide resources in support of empowerment? And how can listeners apply that to their own advocacy efforts?
How has being a mother? Well, my name is really Teresa, so, drop the mic. Sorry. I've had to use that because my kids, especially my son, just loves to say, all right, Mother Teresa. We're not even Catholic, okay? Excuse me. Sorry. I'm trying to take a minute to roll this all together. Someone did, here's another one of those connections in the store. You never know who you're going to meet and how you're going to impact them. A lady that wants to partner with me because she helps people move into senior living facilities, so they're downsizing and have stuff. She brought me a picture from one of her clients, and it's Saint Teresa, and it's a beautiful poem. She brought it to me at the store and said, I immediately thought of you and all you're doing, and I want you to have this. I started bawling in the store. I'm like, be careful giving kindness because it comes back at you. And my tear ducts are very, very weak. You think they'd be strong by now. Anyway, so being a mother, it is my most favorite position, my most favorite job. I wanted to be a CEO. Hello, I'm a CEO now. Ha ha. But growing up, I was told I was going to have to live in my station in life. Growing up in Texas, I didn't have any family members that had gone to college. So I had this notion that I was going to go to college because in school they talked about college, even though we were a really small town. But we had NFL football players coming to visit us. So I don't know why I didn't realize I was went to an at-risk school because, NFL players don't go to rich schools. They just go see the poor at-risk kids. I'm like, and when I think back, I'm like, oh my God. Yes. Anyway. But I was supposed to stay in that station. The thought of going to college? Well, who do you think you are? Yeah, my family. Mm-hmm. This is why I moved to California. My family was, yeah, you're not us. I'm like, well, FedEx kid, all right? So I was going to go to college. I had mentioned, car, house, boat, all that stuff. Ha ha, my heart overruled my head. Met my guy in the service uniform, married him. I also started to have female issues. Was faced with having a hysterectomy at 19. And things kept happening. The word cancer was coming around. And I'm like, but I'm supposed to be a CEO. I'm supposed to, and I married this handsome man and we're going places, now we're going to travel the world. Yeah, God's up there laughing. And by 24, I chose to make the decision to have my own children if I could. And sure enough, first month. So, shows you who's really in charge. And I held her in my arms, and I'd already had 4 years of being a military spouse, and I had moved 4 times, being married 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. That was my life. And I had chosen it, and I said through thick and thin, rich or poorer, I believed in all that. I wanted to commit to my vows to my husband and my family. My family was most important to me. So I had a child, held that baby, and after a month I said, "Oh, I can't go back to work. How am I going to?" So, and that whole breastfeeding thing, I've listened to your podcast on breastfeeding. Oh my gosh. We all go through it. I don't know. I would love to meet the woman or talk to the woman that did not have an issue breastfeeding. Come on. Just think about it. Ow. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So 8 months later, after having a kid, we move. A year later, we move. And I just said, and my husband, was trying to climb the ladder, but, was having, I want to say normal because everybody, no matter what your profession is, you have struggles. You put your foot on the ladder and somebody just put grease on it or honey and you slip a little, right? Or you don't really put your hand on the rung up there in such a way that you can pull yourself up. You slip a little. It happens. Don't tell me it's not going to happen. It does. You're not living So I asked my husband, I need to just be a stay-at-home mom. Okay? Because I can't do this. I can't be a happy wife. I can't move and put my house order. I have to have some order, and my order looks like this. We're moving every year. I'm either going to go cuckoo, or we're going to get a divorce, or I'm going to live somewhere and you're going to do this whole travel thing. So we agreed. I think we would forget many times that we both agreed I would be a mom, stay-at-home mom. I eventually turned that into domestic engineer and wrote out my own little job description and then resume on what I did as a mom: moving, financing, organizing, doctor's appointments, personal planner, managed, minimum of 3 people every day, cooked their meals, not to mention the whole psychological side of it, right?
Yeah.
But I thrived. Once we decided that I could be a domestic engineer, went to the School of Hard Knocks, got my degree in domestic engineering, but I loved it. Turns out I loved it. I had times where I want a paid job because I didn't feel valued, but that's a whole nother relationship aspect of a marriage. It's how you raise your children to respect you, how you have your kids do chores or have responsibilities around the house. Why do I have to? How are we going to raise independent people? And I don't really like the word independent. Take care of yourself, but don't live in your own you can live in your own. Oh, it's so psychological. Anyway, we need to raise our children to be able to take care of themselves, not just coddle them the whole time. And it's hard. It is hard. And my mom's generation was the first generation that worked in the field. And I'm glad, because if my mom hadn't had a job, we wouldn't have had food on the table, because my dad was not the best provider. But my mom showed me love and positivity. I never knew we were poor. I never knew we were at the poverty level. I lived in Section 8, didn't really know what that meant. Food stamps were fun. I got to, organize my own little book, got my first curling iron. I didn't know that was poor because my mom didn't look at it that way. It was an opportunity for us to have food on the table, or for me to get a curling iron. She had holes in her pants so I could have my first I Rode the Bull jeans. When I grew up and realized that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do that to my children. I loved raising my kids. I had both ends of the spectrum, this overachieving AP, OCD, beautiful, loving daughter, and this son that's like, que sera, can we just have fun? And he was just always, and still is, well, now he's 30 and is going, I'm ready to settle down. I'm like, go for it. But you got to go somewhere. You can't just go to work and go to your hangout, You got to go to other places. If you're going to, if there aren't girls there, then you got to go find them, because they're not going to come to you. Which is another funny thing, because
they have that privilege.
To do what? They have the privilege to do what? Sorry, I missed something.
I mean, I'm not going to say, I hate to say like women are on a clock, but
I
get a little bit more so than men.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. My husband said at, 29, I'm ready to have kids. And I'm like, no, I'm working so hard to save my parts because I want to go to college. I want that house. I want that boat. And, God's up there going, guess I better take another part away so that she gets that I'm in charge. So, yeah. But yeah, he said, I want a kid. And I'm like, your clock isn't ticking, buddy. My clock's ticking. And my clock is spinning out of control, actually. So he didn't want to tell me that. He didn't want to say, do you not see your clock? What's that? Alice in Wonderland, the clock that was,
Yeah.
He's like, honey, it was actually my mother's phone call. Mother's.
Mm-hmm.
When my mother called
Mm-hmm.
and said, I think God's trying to tell you need to have kids right now. Tell me like it is, Mom. Tell me like it is. And then another 10 years later, she goes, I think God's trying to tell you. I'm like, tell me how it is, Mom. Tell me how it is. So I'm starting to do that with my kids now that they're 30 and 34. Close enough anyway. Maybe God's trying to tell you to step over your fear and hold it like a rod turned into that snake. And they're looking at me like, what are you talking about? I know you're quoting some kind of scripture, Mom, but I don't know what it is. I'm like, I know, I failed at that. But anyway, I loved being a mother. I loved being a mother. I loved being a grandmother. I feel like I'm kind of a mother at the store. I love the title of the evolving mother.
Mm-hmm.
I just needed to take hold of my life at that 2012 because my daughter had graduated from high school and gone off to college. And I was like, whoa, what just happened to my life? My mom died. And I was like, well, how am I going to move forward?
Mm.
And I just said, you're going to evolve. You're not done. God's not done with you. So you're going to evolve. So the evolvingmother@gmail.com came into existence. Didn't start using it for a few years, but I've always hung on to it. Then I started the business. And I'm on the other side of the mountain, maybe, or through the path.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm continuing the journey, and I'm loving it. For anyone that believes that you can move into your dream home, whether you make it or it plops into your lap, I'm living in my dream home that I didn't build, and thank God, because my husband and I probably would have really divorced over that. We weren't looking for another house, but the kids, grew up and moved out, and we both started hobbies, once we were tired.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, And we just drove up to this property and went, and we hadn't even walked in the house. So, but you've been here. So, it's just paradise for us.
Mm-hmm.
It is just amazing. And so I want to live my days after, moving forward, evolving into, I actually want to take chances. I want to take some risks. I have everything I've ever imagined. The boat turned into be a kayak, a double kayak, so I could kayak with my husband. We no longer had that because I was tired of being dumped out. They put me in first because I'm the shortest and the lightest weight, but they'd get in and I'd flip out. I'm like, this is not fun. So, we live in the finest city. I just have everything I can ever imagine, I've ever dreamed of. And my blog on choices will talk to you about my dreams. So now that I'm earning a salary, that was a thing. I wanted to earn a salary because in America, money matters. Money says you are someone, right? I've got that salary. it's good for me. I'm like, what? Okay, yeah, let's do it. It's peanuts compared to other people. It doesn't matter. It's what matters to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's affordable for the store. It's what the store needs to move forward. So now I want to be a little more of a risk taker, which seems like it's probably me because I'm always out there. No. So I want to take a risk in writing my book and helping others live into who they are. Because it's going to help all of us live better
Not
when we are
skydiving. No.
My daughter did that. My daughter jumped out of a plane. My husband took her, and I said, I don't want to know anything. I don't want any text messages. I don't want any pictures until it's all done and she's safe on the ground. He calls me as she's jumping out of the plane. Look, there she is. I'm like, hung up the phone. I'm like, I said, I don't want to know when it's done. Anyway.
I know. It's one of those things. I feel like that's always a question, like, would you ever do it?
I have no desire. I can get up on the top of a ladder and go, no.
Yeah.
I can only look out of the air.
That raised my hand on the Ferris wheel, like, get me down.
Yeah. And if the dang thing stops in midair, or getting stuck in an elevator, I got stuck in an elevator. No. Yeah. All I can say is thank God for cell phones, because I was able to call my husband, but my husband didn't answer. So I called my daughter. They're both in construction, hospitals and stuff. And like, can you please call this particular phone number so they can get me out of the elevator? I'm stuck in the elevator. She goes, what? I'm like, you know, I'm claustrophobic. You know, this is not me. Please. 20.
Help, please.
Your mother is going to go mad. They're going to have to take me straight to the insane asylum. Yeah. Wait to hear the next blog out of this.
I know, right? I couldn't imagine. That's a wrap for me, thank goodness. So I'm like, I couldn't imagine. But after seeing Final Destination and all those, anyway.
Nope.
Not making words. So Terry, if you can just finish this sentence for me. Mothering holistically means
being true to yourself, so that you can give the positivity of who you are to your children. My daughter and my son, mostly my daughter because she now has a kid, she keeps saying, people don't talk about this. People don't talk about this. Talk to your kids. You'll know when you said too much or you shouldn't go down that path. Holistically, so talk to your kids. Be there. Listen more. 2 ears, 1 mouth. It's clear, right? Listen more. I hear you. You remember I said that earlier. All you have to say is, I hear you. When you look someone in the eye and you listen, it makes a difference. Holistically, to me, is taking into consideration heart, mind, body, psychology, every aspect of life.
I love that. I was just making sure. I didn't want to cut you off. I don't say anything beyond that, but I really 2 ears, 1 mouth. Clearly listen more. That got me. I'm going to coin that. I'm going to use that. But I love what you said.
And you have a challenge because you have twins. Wait, I need 4 ears and I get 2 mouths, right? No. My sister has twins. So, yeah.
Oh, really? To a boy and a girl, 2 boys, what?
2 girls.
Oh, nice. Okay. She's like me.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that. And thank you so much. This has been awesome. Thank you for sharing your tips and everything. Is there any last words that you would like to share?
I can talk about everything. So I just want to say thank you for another opportunity to share. And I have really enjoyed getting to know you. And this is one of the
Thank you.
wonderful things of technology. It allows us to connect. So use your power for good and keep doing what you're doing. I love the title of your
Thank you.
podcast. I love your
Thank you.
perspective, your heart, your 80s look. Um, and if you guys can make it out in April, that would be so wonderful.
Yes. Yes. I know I'm like going to go tell my husband, we have to go back. And then, of course, where can people connect with you and like the website addresses and things? It'll be in the description, but it's nice to say it out loud as well.
TheEvolvingCompany.com and then theriseconcept.org.
Perfect. Perfect. And you said the Rise is also on Instagram?
We have an Instagram account. The Facebook is, we just post to Facebook. Oh,
here it is. And of course, you can follow me at Kaylee Berlini on all social media platforms. Definitely follow the podcast at Mothering Holistically, again on Instagram and Facebook, and then tag us. If you go into the Rise concept in Rancho Bernardo, definitely tag us with it, whatever you find. I'm sure it'll be a gem and a treasure. So let us know. And of course, her event, April 26th.
Spring
Yes.
Fest,
So
April
and
26th.
they have, and you have all the information too in the store, so they can
On the
find
store,
it
on the
there.
website. It'll be in Instagram.
It'll be in the same place as last time. Okay, wonderful. Yes, that was nice. I loved the crafts that you had too off to the side. It was just all encompassing. It was so nice, so lovely. And if you like this episode and feel it resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out by clicking that like button. If you feel it can encourage someone that you know, definitely share this episode while also subscribing or following, no matter where you're listening from, while also hitting that notification bell to never miss a weekly episode. Episodes air every Saturday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So until next time, remember to mother holistically and thrive authentically. I'm your host, Kaylee Berlini, and together we're winning. Bye, y'all.